Welcome to an integrator's vlog. Hey y'all. I'm gonna pass on a bit of a dream that I had last night and then connect it to a couple others that I've been dealing with for a couple years now. A buddy of mine who I've practiced yoga with for a number of years stopped by in one of my dreams. I've seen him a number of times, and I think he's far more spiritually developed than myself. Quite an extraordinary young chap, really. And he gave me, I guess it would be called a little test. It was quite an interesting little one, wherein there was a battery connected to, I think it was a motorcycle. And he's like, okay, I want you to electrocute yourself or touch the battery, and you'll experience what it's like to feel enlightenment. And you know, I had a bit of a moment of hesitation, thinking, you know, I didn't think I'd die, but I thought this would be really painful, right? And so I paused for a moment, and I touched it, and then he poured water on it. So I felt the electrical shock for, well, not really, but and then he poured the water on it, and everything went black, and I just felt a sense of kind of waviness. It was very etheric, hardly like there was any, like I was smoke, but it was kind of blissful, for sure. But I pulled back from it very quickly. I didn't stay in the moment for very long, and I'm kind of wondering why that is. Part of it, this might just be my rationalizing of what I feel about it, but I think that I felt that there was work for me to do, and I didn't want to sit around in this blissful state, even though I know that entering and holding these states allows you to enter into them more easily the next time. So I find it strange that I rationalize things that way. But anyways, I'll connect this to a couple other dreams, at least loosely. About a year and a half ago, I had a dream wherein I was in the midst of a giant war, and it was a very primitive war. It was like it felt like it's been going on for thousands of years. In it, there's these kind of circus-like giants almost that were super brightly colored. The whole world was super real looking. Like the colors just stood out so vividly, and time was so slow. But the individual that seemed in closest proximity to me was this big red bloke. He had a big red mask, and, you know, kind of looked like a wrestler on steroids, and, you know, just dwarfed me. They also use these kind of poles that they'd use to leap over people. I looked around a bit, and you could see, you know, this kind of circus-like activity going around them. But this is just to say that it was like sort of felt like I was within a giant war that and there was many people playing a role in this war. And then, about a year ago, I had another dream wherein this psychic being was living in kind of a Montana-like forest next to a giant mansion. And one of the most profound elements of this dream was kind of the look of this character. He just resonated, or what's the word, kind of light out of his body. It was just, you could just tell he had massive amounts of power. Simultaneously, he seemed to have a lot of psychic power. Because I got the feeling, and I almost got to see through his eyes for a few moments. He seemed to be looking through other people's minds. And then you could track them down by just psychically knowing where they were. And it was, the sole intent was essentially to kill them all, to track them down and kill them. And I was one of them that I was going to maybe die. I was also sort of simultaneously watching what was happening too. It was very strange. Anyways, maybe there's no linkage here between these dreams, but that kind of level of lucid lucidity between these three are quite similar. I'd say last night's was less lucid to some extent, but the other two were some of the most lucid in my life, and they had this kind of very dark element to it, kind of a giant battle feeling. Anyways, blessings, yo.